Hello and welcome to another episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown and John Carlos Barra, and we are your hosts. On this episode, we will debate whether the Billy Donovan signing was a good move for the Chicago Bulls, and I know Riv has a lot to say about that. We're also going to debate which young team in the Western Conference has the best shot at making the playoffs. Also, who should Philly trade for Harden, Embiid or Simmons? Then we will talk about the Karl Anthony Towns rumors and what is the missing piece for the Dallas Mavericks. And today, some breaking news happened. Doc Rivers got fired from the Clippers and Oladipo wants out from Indiana. So we're going to talk about that as well. And then we're going to talk about the NBA Finals between the Miami Heat and the Lakers. Not exactly in that order, but we're going to talk about all of them.
So
Somewhere. My day was pretty good, man. Can't complain. I know the game is going on right now, the Chiefs and Ravens. You know, I wish I could watch that right now, but I do the show. You know?
Gangsta. Priorities first. What about you, JC? How your day?
Work, bro.
Work.
Yeah.
So the first topic of the day.
Wait. So we can bring our computer from now on? That what you're telling me?
I mean, if you want to, you can. Nothing's stopping you.
All right, noted. I ain't know.
All right. So the first topic of the day is, was the Billy Donovan signing a good move for the Chicago Bulls? And Riv, you're a Bulls fan, so I want to ask you first, was it a good move?
Absolutely. Jim Boylen was the worst coach in the league by far. I think this move definitely sees that the front office is moving forward. You know, we got young talent in Kobe White, Zach LaVine. We still got Laurie, who's still he has potential to be a really, really good player. We have Wendell. We just got to get rid of Otto Porter Jr., and Denzel Valentine. No, I think we could keep Chris Dunn. He locks up defensively. He's just offensively, he's not that guy. But I think Billy Donovan, what he just did with OKC in terms of getting that team to the playoffs, putting in the right schemes, playing the three-point guard lineup, which was one of the clutchest lineups in the league in the fourth quarter. I think what he showed in OKC is that he can build a team that's not meant to be anything and turn them into a playoff contention team. And that's what Chicago needs. You know, we've been out the playoffs since 2016. We haven't been there in a long time. Been in the losing seasons, so I think this is ultimately the next step in becoming a playoff contender like we used to be.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's all you had to say.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, what about you, JC? Do you like the move?
What did you want me to say more?
I thought she was about to go in depth on it.
I got to see more.
I
got to see more.
I mean, I like the signing. I feel like they got the best head coach available prior to the Doc Rivers fire.
Word, right?
But I still would have leaned more towards Billy Donovan. I think this move put that the organization is serious about winning. Like Riv said, I feel like this team, I feel like this team has hidden talent, like many other people feel. I mean, I feel like Laurie still has potential to be a very good player. I don't think he's done. I think Zach LaVine is really good. I like Kobe White. He's good. So I think Billy Donovan, the most important thing that he brings to the Bulls culture is winning. You know, he's been a part of playoff teams. OKC this year had an amazing run for what it was worth. Game 7 against Houston, a lot of people didn't think they were going to make the playoffs that year. I certainly did it. So I think that he brings a winning culture, and I think that this is the best coach available to turn the Bulls organization around. And I think he will do it.
Okay, so
say something say a hate remark. I dare you.
Before I give my take, I want you to stand up from your chair.
Why?
And I want you to go check on the camera to make sure it's recording. Because I have a feeling that I didn't press play, but you could just check. Is it good? Yeah. Okay, it's good. All right. So now I'm about to give my take. Billy Donovan was one of the best hires by I think any team is going to make outside of somebody hiring Mike D'Antoni potentially. And obviously the firing of Billy Donovan came to a surprise of everybody. We thought he was going to stay in OKC because their future does look really bright.
Yeah.
But I think the problem that he saw with OKC and many of us should see with OKC is that they're far from contention because their picks are like in 2024, 2025, 2026. So they're pretty far from all of those assets coming into fruition. What I see with Billy Donovan, Chicago, I think the reason he chose the Chicago Bulls is because he thinks he can win there. He left OKC because he saw that they were going to start rebuilding. They're probably going to trade Chris Paul, maybe Steven Adams. So he wanted to go to a team that he thinks he can win with. And I think you can win with Chicago.
Yeah.
They have a good roster. The pieces are there. Laurie's there. Zach LaVine's there. Look, my favorite stat. My favorite thing about the NBA now, I know most people hate it, is a 3-point shot. And Chicago's good at shooting the three. I mean, you got Levine at 38%, Laurie at 34%, Kobe at 35%.
On a bad year, too.
And Porter shooting 39%. I know you said you want him going, but I feel like Porter is a really good piece.
I want him
for
going
his contract.
because he's getting paid $27 million.
Yeah,
I mean, I think his contract is expiring next year.
Yeah.
So whether you give him up, you let him stay.
Like if we signed him for something less, I would be fine with it. But $27 million for Otto Porter, I can't get with that.
Yeah, and then Thaddeus Young. I mean, we think of him as a slasher, but he shot 36% from three in Chicago. So, and when people think about Chicago, they think about offense. But this past year with Jim Boylan, he was a horrible coach, but I think they were 12th in defensive rating. And the Bulls have things to build off of. You got the 4th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
So, you could, I don't know who you probably get, Killian Hayes, a point guard, probably somebody like that.
No, because you know what Jim Boylan said one game? He said pre-interview, we were playing the Bucks. I remember this shit clear as day. The Bucks were coming to town, rival game. He said, Giannis is easy to stop. I know how to stop Giannis. He proceeded to start the game with Chris Dunn guarding him. Giannis puts Chris Dunn in the post, and he scores 15 in the first quarter. He is the worst coach I've ever seen in my life. I thank God that he got fired. I'm grateful that he got fired. It's been the worst shit show. To your defense, we're not probably going to draft Killian Hayes, though, because we have Kobe White there and Chris Dunn. So I don't think bringing in another point guard, a project at that, would not help the case. I think if anything, we'll probably go with.
You draft? I mean, I think Devin Vassell can go as high as 4.
I think we're looking at a 3 and D.
Maybe the guy from Auburn. I forgot his name. But let me check his name right now.
I don't think, because looking at Obi Toppin wouldn't make sense, because we have
Isaac Okoro. That's what
the wing defender.
Yeah,
he would be the best. I mean, because we don't need we have Kobe, we have Levine, so we getting Edwards, getting LaMelo, we have them too. We just got those guys. Then you got Laurie and Wendell, who they haven't been healthy, so we don't really know their full potential. So getting Obi Toppin wouldn't make sense there either. Mm-hmm. So we're left with the 3, and we've been weak at 3. We've passed on Cam Reddish, we've passed on Michael Porter Jr. Those are 2 players that possibly could be all-stars. So now Isaac Okoro, he was a lockdown defender in college. He won Defensive Player of the Year. So if we pass on another wing for another guard, like, I don't know, man. Like, at this point, I think we should go. I mean, Billy Donovan said, I want players to come up to me. I want them to tell me their skill sets, where they want to be in the game, and then we're going to make ways to adjustment. That showed me that he's about the players. He's going to put our players in a position to win. I think he's going to benefit Laurie in a sense, because Laurie got held back by Jim Boylan. They turned him into a spot-up shooter. Mm-hmm. And that's not he's more like offensively, not Porzingis, but kind of like that. Like, he can stretch out. He can go to the paint. So I want him to expand his game and get the ball and touches more, and Zach to become a better playmaker, Kobe too.
And I think that's part of the reason why Laurie's 3-point percent is dipped, because Jim Boylan didn't know how to use him. And I loved Laurie coming out of college. He went to Arizona, correct? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I loved him out of college. I thought he was kind of like fit the Porzingis kind of play style.
Easily.
He's a stretch where he could play the 5. But I think the Chicago Bulls are in a weird position with their roster. And what I mean by that is that every player at your positions either is good enough to not draft a player for that position or young enough to not draft a player for that position.
They're all young. Yeah.
Because we don't know who Wendell is, but
he's 21.
He has potential, so you're like, we can't draft a center there. You look at Laurie, potential. We can't draft a power forward there. Then you look at Otto Porter, he's probably, wing is probably going to come off the bench for him. So, and Zach LaVine, we know who he is, and Kobe White, you're not going to draft the guard because of Kobe White's there, but I think the 2 positions that they probably do draft are point guard or small forward. I'd like to see a point guard there because I don't see Chris Dunn there for long. I think he'd probably leave.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird. Like you said, it's weird because they haven't been healthy enough to show us anything, or they're just too young to show us anything. Wendell's played, he played like 30 games this year. Laurie played about 30-something games. They don't play our starters, Zach LaVine, Wendell, Laurie, Otto, for the last 2 years, haven't played 60 games together. So that shows you right there that the continuity isn't there, the chemistry isn't there, and they haven't been healthy enough. So we don't even know. We see Wendell as, he can block shots, he can play defense, he can kind of stretch the floor, but we haven't seen enough to make that. We already know what Laurie can become, but can he become that? Can he get to that level without getting hurt with a good coach? And now we have Billy Donovan, so it's going to be interesting to see what we do. I mean, we also have Cap too, and we, like you said, we have the number four pick. So it's going to be interesting. We have a very interesting offseason coming, and I really am capable. I am confident in this team going forward next year, and I think we can make a run at 8th seed.
Really
if we're healthy.
Really short off season. It's going to be like a month at most.
Yeah.
The draft is in November.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be really short off season. So just some hot takes, just a prediction. Do you think the Chicago Bulls make the playoffs next year?
If we're healthy,
or not next year, next season.
If we're healthy, yes, that would actually be next year. It starts in January.
I thought season starts December 25th on Christmas Day. They said they pushed it back from the 1st to the 25th. They could have pushed it back.
I'm gonna just go January. I'm gonna just say just January.
I think it is December, but just next season to be safe.
Yeah.
Did they make the playoffs?
Yes, I think we can be better. I think we were fighting for Orlando. We were fighting with Orlando, and Brooklyn for a very long period of time.
Yeah.
Before our players went down with injury. So I think we can fight for an 8th spot realistically. And if the Pacers trade Oladipo and they don't get a lot back, you still got to look at that too. Look at that team. And Orlando, they have injury problems. Jonathan Isaac isn't going to play next year, so they have also have a bunch of injuries.
The Wizards
too.
are falling off.
The Wizards,
I don't think they'll be there next year.
Yeah, the Wizards, they're getting John Wall back, but
you think Atlanta's going to have a shot?
That's a team we have to look out for too.
With
yeah, I think we can fight for AFC.
Because Cleveland and the Knicks are far off.
So do you think the Chicago Bulls make it?
He picked us to make it this year.
Yeah, I did. I think they are. I think that hiring of Billy Donovan is gonna change the schematics of the team, and I do think they have a shot. I mean, like Riv said, the only competitor that they have seems like is Atlanta. I think Orlando's on
if
the
they
downfall.
make the right moves.
The Wizards, I don't know. Like maybe John Wall and Bradley Beal's good enough to get you to the AC, but
also another fun fact: Billy Donovan recruited Wendell Carter Jr. out of high school heavily when Billy Donovan was in Florida.
For real?
Yeah. So he's probably familiar with his game style.
What's Wendell's game? Like, what is he? Like when he comes in, is he like a high energy player, rebounder, block shots? Like what is he? Like,
honestly, I don't know. It's hard to.
Does he have like a Jared Allen game?
No.
I barely watch Chicago, bro. So.
He's.
I know. Like I hear like he has stretches of really good games, but doesn't play enough.
Give you like he's like a Derek Favors,
not bad
in a sense. Like
Derek Favors is
he
good.
Can shoot a little bit. He can stretch out a little. But he's kind of like a Derek Favors. Like he's gonna block shots, defense. But he's more inside. Laurie's outside. That's why kind of we drafted him outside game. So this game is weird though.
My final take on the Bulls is that if Billy Donovan rejected a 2-year extension from the Thunder, it's because he feels like he can win with the Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
He in essence left the Thunder for Chicago, which can either be one of the worst decisions he's ever made or one of the best, depending on how stuff goes.
Yeah.
So my final thoughts is that I think they will make the playoffs.
We're a big market too. We're one of the big markets. Us, the Knicks, Warriors, the Heat. So we're a big market. So I think Billy Donovan felt like this was the spot where he can really turn a weak team into a championship like team. So
the free agency class next year is going to be stacked, right?
2021, yeah.
I think if you guys make the playoffs, you guys have a shot at getting a really good free agent or two, given the cap. I think that this season's important. I think you guys should go all out to try to make the playoffs. And I think if you do, you have a shot at getting a real good free agent.
Think about
a lot of young pieces on the team.
I don't even since 2000, I don't think we've had a big name free agent. I think the closest we were was LeBron.
Yeah,
when he was going to play with D Rose. That was
Carmelo too.
Oh, yeah, and Carmelo was
Dwayne
close.
Wade?
We never had it. We never had it. We was really close with Melo.
Yeah,
like we were in LeBron too. We were like their second pick.
I remember Melo.
So and that hurt because Melo would have changed everything.
Yeah,
the Bulls are a young team in the East. Now we're going to talk about young teams in the West, and a specific question is going to be which young team in the West has the best shot of making the playoffs. The teams up there, the Pelicans, the Grizzlies, the Suns, the Timberwolves, the Kings. Got a lot of young teams. Which team is going to take that leap and make the playoffs this coming season?
I'm going to go with the team that... Wait, who are you going to go with?
I mean, I was firstly going to say, we had conversations like off the show about the Suns. You know how I feel about the Suns.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like the Suns have a shot. Based off how they finished,
I know who you're gonna say.
Based off how they finished the bubble, I know it's a short sample size, 8-0. They were playing really well. I think Monty Williams is one of the most underrated coaches in the entire association. A lot of people don't remember the fact that DeAndre Ayton was suspended the first 25 games of the season for the I forgot what I think it was like he was using drugs or whatever the case may be. I think that was big. I think
25 games.
Yeah.
John Collins too, right? Same thing.
I think the step forward that Kelly Oubre took this year is really good. He averaged 19.7 rebounds. You got Devin Booker. You got Ricky Rubio, who's good. They have the 10th pick. I think that their team, I think that they can go either way. I think they can draft somebody, or I think they can use that pick in a player like Kelly Oubre to lure in somebody else that's pretty good. But honestly, just off the 3 stars that they have, Devin Booker, young stars that they have, Devin Booker, Kelly Oubre, DeAndre Ayton, and the way they finished the bubble last year with their coaching, I think they have a legit shot at making the playoffs. They were actually pretty good opening the season, but they didn't end up.
Who are you gonna? I know who you're gonna pick.
I feel like you're gonna say the Suns. You're gonna say what he said.
I'm not. I wasn't gonna pick the Suns at all.
You weren't gonna pick the Suns. Well,
I know who you're gonna pick. You're gonna pick the Pelicans.
I'm not picking the Pelicans.
Who are you picking?
I was close. I'm picking the Suns as well.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Why?
Because one, just the 8-0 in the bubble. I think that means something going into the other season with momentum. I think that's huge.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Monty Williams,
great
culture
coach.
Setter. I don't know about great. He's a good coach.
He's a good coach.
For that, I think for that core, I think he's great for them. That's what they needed, a young guy.
Okay, he's great for them. We're not going to get mixed up with words or whatever.
Pardon me.
Whatever. But I just, look, the same thing with Chicago Bulls. I really love teams that can shoot the ball, that can space the floor. Mm-hmm. Cameron Johnson, I think it might take a really...
He was getting laughed on, too.
He might take a really big leap next year. I'm not saying about becoming... I'm not saying like becoming an all-star or nothing, but this guy is a 39% 3-point shooter.
Can shoot the rock.
He can have the same impact that Duncan Robinson has on the Heat on the Suns in terms of spacing the floor.
It's not a bad take.
Like, he's that good of a shooter, and I mean, Ayton,
and he can play defense.
Ayton's good.
Yeah, Ayton, you got a lockdown defender in Mikal Bridges.
Very good.
You got solid guys, so I just feel like the Suns have the best roster, and they don't have that lingering concern that the Pelicans have in terms of injuries. Because the reason why I'm not picking the Pelicans is because they don't have a coach right now.
Yeah.
They don't have Alvin Gentry there. Well, if we can say he's not that good of a coach regardless.
Side question. Do you think Doc Rivers or Mike D'Antoni takes the Pelicans job?
No. I don't think D'Antoni does.
You don't think so?
I don't even know. I think D'Antoni's going to Philly.
I think that's his best shot.
Okay.
I mean, as far as Doc Rivers goes, I mean,
just a side question.
I don't know if Doc Rivers wants to.
Yeah, I think Doc Rivers wants to win.
I think that's an intriguing job, though.
It is, definitely. You got Zion, Brandon Ingram, who's good, Lonzo. I mean,
but you see that with the Pelicans, they have injury concerns. The Kings are just too mismanaged. Luke Walton is a bad coach.
He is.
So I don't trust them at all. And the Grizzlies have a shot, but Ja Morant, he's Dylan Brooks, they're good players, but
you're forgetting about somebody else.
Wait a minute. Keep going.
Brandon Clark,
Jaren Jackson.
Oh,
Ja Morant is just a good player.
He's not Devin Booker.
Not yet.
He's not, but
Booker,
he can close the gap very fast.
Devin Booker's better than him, though.
Yeah. Okay.
D-Book is nice.
You picking the Suns. Yeah. I'm picking the Grizzlies. Easily. I'm picking the Grizzlies for the simple fact that we seen what they did this year. They showed everybody pre-bubble that they're not a team. They're not a team to joke around with. They play ball, and when they're before
they were kind of bad in the bubble though.
Before Jaren Jackson went down with that injury pre-bubble, they were winning. They were in the playoffs. It was like, the Grizzlies are gonna get in. Jaren Jackson goes down. They lose a bit of that guy, that second scorer, so they lose a couple games. The bubble, they're a young team. They didn't understand how to get through. They don't have that veteran leadership like Ricky Rubio on the team to get them through. So okay, I understand. But this year, and this is just me speculating, if Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson makes that jump, which Jaren Jackson made the jump last year, he became a pretty good shooter. He's a good defender. Yeah, he's not a good rebounder.
He's a good defender.
He's a good defender. Really he's a good shooter. If Jaren Jackson and Ja Morant make that leap, the Phoenix Suns don't have a chance. Ja Morant is a transcendent star. He's a franchise player easily. Yeah, they have Devin Booker. Devin Booker's never made the playoffs in his life.
He's been surrounded by a lot of bad teams, though.
I mean, the Grizzlies weren't that good.
The Suns aren't anything.
The Grizzlies aren't anything. They're not that good either.
I mean, they got Jonas Valanciunas isn't bad. Jaren Jackson, Ja Morant, Dylan Brooks.
You couldn't be more wrong. You couldn't be more wrong about your assessment of who you think the Suns are, and also who you think the Grizzlies are.
The Suns are the team that's never made the playoffs.
You want to know?
It's been 10 years, 11 now.
You want to know what the Grizzlies showed me? They showed me that when the pressure is on them, when they got to get some wins, they can't win. They can't handle the pressure. The The Suns showed they can handle the pressure. Devin Booker showed he can handle the pressure.
Yeah,
hitting the game win over Kawhi and Paul George. That's something that John Moran would never do in his life.
Wait, so in the regular
in
the regular season, wait, hold on, stop, because John Moran laid the Nets and then blocked Kyrie's game time shot. So let's stop.
Did he hit a game win over the team that you thought was going to make the championship?
No, but wait, pre-bubble, what were the Suns? Wait, pre-bubble, what was the Suns doing?
They were winning some games.
It's like you.
Well, they definitely improved.
Nah, yeah, but it's like you just use your little 8-game bubble and you forget that we had a whole we had 60 games. We had 60 games before the bubble.
Weren't they the only undefeated team in the bubble too?
Yeah, they were.
They played really well.
We have 8 games in the bubble and we have pre-bubble, and pre-bubble showed us the Grizzlies were better than Phoenix all year.
They were
all year. They were better than Phoenix. They were better
closed
than
the gap in the bubble though.
Yeah,
they were literally right there.
They closed the gap in the bubble.
Phoenix had a tough schedule too.
So did the Grizzlies.
Now the Phoenix.
I think Phoenix had a tougher schedule.
No, the Grizzlies.
But the only
we even talked
difference,
about it on the show. The Grizzlies had a tougher schedule, so the Pelicans could get in.
The difference
but the Suns had a tough schedule too.
The difference between the Grizzlies and the Suns is that the Suns faced hard teams just like the Grizzlies, but the Grizzlies didn't even come close to beating them. The Suns showed we could hang with these top dogs. The Grizzlies showed we're too scared to hang with these top dogs. We're too young. We're too scared. We can't handle them at all. We can't handle them. They can't handle those top dogs. God. I mean, look, when you're a team who's coming into the bubble as an 8th seed, right, and you let Portland catch up, you let Phoenix catch up. Honestly,
even the Spurs.
Everybody, I think every single fan in the NBA was hoping the Grizzlies weren't even in a play-in game because we knew, if Portland faces them, it's over.
It was a great
game.
John
Moran can't handle that.
It was a good game.
It's over.
John Moran was killing that game.
It's over.
He was getting killed too, though.
But I know everybody wanted to see.
He took the challenge, though.
Everybody wanted to see Devin Booker and Dame. They wanted to see Showtime. The Phoenix Suns are Showtime. They're going to be Showtime next year.
How you Showtime in a bubble with no fans?
They're going to be Showtime. Yeah, there was a lot of fans, virtual fans. They were cheering.
Talk about some virtual fans. What about when it was fans in the stadium? Where was the Suns?
You know they had the lowest attendance in the
answer that question. Where was the Suns? Wait. Before you continue, I want you to just answer my question.
Don't say the lowest attendance.
Where was the Suns pre-bubble when there were fans in the stadium? Answer that question. Where were they?
Like what seed?
They were winning some games.
They were winning.
They were close enough to close a gap on Grizzlies when they got to the bubble. That's for sure.
If they won 8 games and they still didn't get in the play-in. They won 8 straight and still didn't get in the play-in.
Half a game out is super close.
So they closed the gap. Grizzlies had a big gap on them in the bubble.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And you have to remember, Jaren Jackson went down. They walked into the bubble, losing that chemistry.
If I clearly remember, I think Milwaukee sat out a lot of their players that game too, and the Grizzlies got a win against a couple.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that helped too.
The only way they can win is that when there's no pressure. When the pressure's on, they fold.
They were winning all year.
They needed that game against
They were winning all year.
That's how they're going to be.
How you going to use 8 games and just discredit 60?
Did they finish 500?
Who? The Grizzlies?
The Grizzlies.
I don't know.
They didn't.
Neither of them did then. If that's the case.
They didn't. Well, Phoenix, DeAndre Ayton was out for 25 games.
Jaren Jackson was out about 15, 20 games too.
I guarantee you DeAndre Ayton was out more.
Now he was.
Probably 5 more.
25 games.
A lot of 5 games could have closed the gap and gotten them to the play-in game.
Let's be honest.
I mean, that's their second best player, though.
Let's be honest. Hold on, because this is getting me mad.
Wait, hold up.
No, stop. Because you act like they were gonna play that way without the bubble. Let's really tone it down. Why not, bro? You're playing in front of nobody.
Oh, really? So why couldn't the Grizzlies win games?
They struggled. I'm not going to say they didn't struggle. But let's not act.
You're blaming. You're saying the reason the Suns performed so good is because of the bubble.
There was no
so why did the Grizzlies perform so bad?
The Suns walked in.
They should be performing great.
No, wait, listen. The Suns.
Isn't that true?
The Suns walked in with no
bubble.
Can I talk? The Suns walked in with no pressure in the bubble. There was no pressure on them at all. Nobody was worried about the Suns. But don't credit 8 games and discredit 60. That's my argument. Don't say, they played this in the bubble. Yeah, 8-0 is great. Okay, talk about the other 60 though. What were they doing pre-bubble? Talk about it.
Booker was averaging 27 a game.
Good. What else were they doing? They. What were they doing? They as a team. What was their record?
Aubrey averaged 19.
And what was their record?
Really good team.
What was their record?
Well, I can't speak to that pre-bubble, but they were close enough to close the gap.
What was their record?
They should have never closed the gap to begin with.
You try to say,
because you're not talking about pre-bubble when they were like 27.
They came into the bubble with no pressure, right?
They didn't.
But after they were 3-0, and people were like, "Wow, they're going undefeated," the pressure was mounting, and they said,
They were undefeated. Still didn't make it.
handle anything you throw at us. We'll beat the Clippers.
They finished with the same record at the end of it all, though.
Yeah, the
34 and
8 games helped them. The Grizzlies lost a couple games. They lost some good. They lost some tough.
And if the season went on longer,
you don't
Grizzlies
know
would have gotten smoked.
That's not true.
They got smoked out the water, man.
That's not true.
How about let's see. I want to see something. Suns versus Grizzlies in regular season, right?
Let's see. Let's see what happened. Let's see.
The Suns beat them. No, I'm playing.
I know.
The Grizzlies beat them.
I know.
Three out of
yeah, I know.
3 times.
I know.
But they were close games, man.
They lost. But when the pressure,
they were really close.
But
games,
wait. But what happened to the pressure when it's pressure in the fourth?
But there's no pressure in December. These games were like December and January. There's no pressure there.
Huh?
There's no pressure in December and January, bro.
For teams like that, but there's pressure in the bubble.
But you said there was no pressure for the Suns to begin.
How
with.
is there not pressure in the bubble when you're fighting for a playoff spot? Because if
you were good enough to make the bubble,
Wizards made the bubble. Let's be honest. Like, come on,
the West is different. But
if they had Bradley Beal, they would have been more competitive. They didn't have Bradley Beal.
The only flaw in what you're saying is that there's multiple flaws, but the flaw that's most evident is that you want to discredit every team, including the Suns. Last episode you did this too. You want to discredit them for their performance in the bubble.
No.
Yet you want to give teams that struggle a pass.
No, I'm saying
the teams that perform. Because it's the bubble. What are the teams that don't perform?
I'm saying you love to talk about how they played in the bubble, but you never speak on what they did pre-bubble. It's like you forgot that it was a whole season that got us to the bubble. You forget that part.
My opinion is as recent as what I saw. And what I saw
the
was
Grizzlies
great.
were 3-0 against the Suns, and not to mention when we left for the bubble, they were up on them in the regular season. They had a better record than they were better than them in every aspect. What are you talking about? We got now coming into next season. The Suns are hot. Yeah, they got the little 8 games in the bubble. That's cool. That's
8 meaningful games.
More
meaningful than those 60. This is a shot to go to the playoffs. This is a shot to go to the playoffs.
Did you just hear what he just said?
What's more meaningful, a game in the playoffs right now? What's more meaningful, the Western Conference Finals or the regular season games? Western Conference Finals, right? What's more serious, the playoff games?
Please listen.
Or the regular season?
Please listen. What is he talking about? No, you tell me what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about.
What's more serious, fighting to get to the playoffs, a play-in tournament, or a measly regular season?
How was it a play-in tournament if the Suns didn't get to play in the tournament? The play-in tournament was the Grizzlies and Portland.
The play-in tournament was basically who can catch up to the AC.
No, the 8 games were the rest of the regular season. The play-in was Portland versus the Grizzlies.
The rest of the regular season of teams that can make it to the playoffs.
Okay, but that wasn't the play-in. Was the Grizzlies and Portland.
Do you think had Phoenix got in, do you think they would have gave Portland a better game than Memphis?
Way better,
because they were on fire and they were beating a lot.
It was a game nonetheless, though.
They were beating a lot of good teams. Do you think Phoenix had a shot at getting in the playoffs?
They wasn't beating Dame. I don't think neither team was beating Dame that night.
But they were the hottest team in the bubble. They were on fire. They taking down the
How
Clippers.
much better could they have played against the Grizzlies? Played them great. That Portland and Grizzlies game was great. And it went down the line.
For one, I think Phoenix takes a game. It
was only one game.
No, Grizzlies had to win 2. Portland had to win 1. I think Phoenix wins a game.
No, but they played. But wait, the Grizzlies and the Portland played the.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think Phoenix would have won.
You think Phoenix would have beat the Portland Trailblazers?
That one game, yeah, and then the last game to get in, anything.
The last game to get in was the Grizzlies and Portland, bro.
I know, but you're not hearing what I'm saying. For the Grizzlies to have another game with Portland, they had to win that one game. They didn't do that. I'm saying had Phoenix got in,
folded. That's as simple as I can say.
Is it? I mean, at the end of the day, it's an assumption, but Phoenix was the hottest team in the bubble. Is it unfair or unrealistic to say that they could have got a win against Portland? Now, you can think Portland wins the next game and wins the entire thing.
I don't think nobody was beating Dame on that night. I don't think any bubble.
I think Phoenix had. Phoenix had a shot.
He's a star.
Just because of how good they were playing, they were on fire.
They were hot.
They were really hot, and honestly, that's what matters in the most in sport. When you get hot, that's what matters. So
at the end of the day, I look at the best player on the team, and that Devin Booker's here. Ja Morant probably here. Where the screw is probably here. Devin Booker, Ja Morant.
It's not that.
One's an all-star, one's not.
Wait, Devin Booker made the all-star team?
Yeah.
When?
This year.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Once?
Yeah.
How old is he?
He is, I want to say 24.
23.
How long he been here?
Let me see. 4 years.
Probably longer.
Now he's coming to his 5th year.
He's 23.
How long he's been? Well, how many years?
He's going fifth. He's been in 5 years.
This will be his 6th?
Yeah.
He's made one all-star game.
25th. This will be
Ja easily. Yeah. Ja easily. Come on. One all-star.
Ja can easily not make an all-star team for 4 years.
In the West?
Ja's going to make all-star.
In the West?
Especially
over
with
Dame and Steph?
Westbrook will be out.
if he's
He'll
there.
be off that list very soon.
I mean,
And if they win, and if he's putting up those numbers that he put in the regular season last year, not a chance.
John Morant was winning as a rookie. Just watch next year.
Winning, they make the
Dylan
playoffs.
Brooks is good. Jaren Jackson is
He was
good.
my favorite rookie.
They still have Cap too.
I like Ja.
Jonas Valanciunas is good.
Nobody's going to Memphis, man.
Brandon Clark is good.
They don't need
They got
a
some.
big.
Wait, I thought you said they didn't have any players.
They don't have
They
they have
have
6
good-
players, bro.
That's good.
That's
That's
all right.
something to build off of.
Anthony
It's all right.
Melton's a good defender too.
He's all
They
right.
got some good players.
Puts up 8 a game.
This what I'm saying.
Good
Phoenix Suns. They're
They
gonna,
have them and Phoenix have around the same team.
the Phoenix Suns. They're gonna be the team.
And
Pretty
Memphis,
honestly,
they have this.
pretty much.
And Memphis wasn't projected to go anywhere. But then you see John Morant and Jared Jackson. You
Phoenix
see Dylan
wasn't
Brooks.
projected.
I think Taylor Jenkins has a lot to do with that,
Phoenix.
Who
The coach, Taylor Jenkins,
has a lot to do with John Morant?
has a lot to do with them winning.
I know, but you have to give. Do you
So
see
you
John
said that
Morant
you
play
said that
basketball?
you said that
I seen
in the
him
start
play.
of the season nobody had the Grizzlies.
Nobody
winning.
had the Grizzlies.
I mean,
Jaren took a leap too.
Can I
So
ask you-
Jonas was.
I said all
Yeah,
of
no,
them.
he did. No,
too.
he did.
I
He
said
did
all
say
of them.
that.
Not about it act like it was a one man show.
Yo.
Did I not just say all of them?
Nah, he did. He said
What you
that.
talking
They
about?
had a good team.
They have
But
the
I ask
same
you
thing?
something though. Nobody expected the Suns to go 8-0 in the bubble and even be in contention or even.
You're
have
talking
it.
about the bubble, though. I'm
Yeah,
talking
but I know,
about
but nobody expected
expected
that
the Grizzlies
either.
to be 8th seed at all.
They still
at
didn't
all.
get it.
Yeah, Portland ended up getting, but Phoenix didn't get it either.
Phoenix was close, man.
So was Portland.
Phoenix-
So was Grizzlies.
Yeah, but Phoenix had a lot of ground to make up, and I think what they did is more impressive than what the Grizzlies did in the bubble.
Now we're gonna
Personally, they were the
finish
hottest team,
talking.
bro.
Their 8 games will never be more impressive than a 60-game sample size.
I mean, that 60-game sample size got them nothing. They were out on the playoffs looking in.
The 8-game streak got him nothing.
No, it's true. No,
Nah,
I'm
got
saying,
them respect.
nah, it's not even that. It's just so they both
I bet
got
you
nothing at the end of the day.
teams respect the Suns more than they respect the Grizzlies.
I mean, I'm
Who
not going to go
cares?
into that.
Yeah, like who cares? No, like legit, who cares? We'll see. John Morant. I'm not. John Morant. We'll see.
All right, bet you he won't outshine Devin Booker. That's for sure.
Devin Booker. He's a good player.
He's a great
Sorry,
player.
yeah, you was about to say he's not all that.
No, but like he's about to gas up. He's a good player.
Oh, he's
but, like,
dumb nice.
yeah, he's nice.
He's
but
mad nice.
Just remember, he still has yet to make the playoffs.
He's gonna make it next year.
He's young, though.
Trust me.
He's young.
What?
They're gonna make it next year.
I think they're going to make it too. I mean, that was our prediction.
We'll see. So you guys think Phoenix is gonna make it next year?
I thought Phoenix was going to make it this year, but,
L.
close.
I
They were
mean,
close.
look, now we're
They
gonna
was close,
talk.
though. They was
We're gonna
close.
talk about 2 established teams, the teams that just made the finals, the Lakers and the Miami Heat. And before we start this topic, I mean, Rev, what do you have to say? I mean, a couple episodes ago, you were laughing at the fact that the Heat could even beat the Boston Celtics, and they beat them.
Yeah, they came out short, man. My final team, they're done. They're done. So
All of your final teams, right? Pretty much.
yeah, I was the last one with the team.
So are you
Well,
still?
You got the Lakers. I'm talking about in the East. I was the last
Are
one.
you
picking-
still
I
down?
picked the Bucks. It was Toronto,
right,
Bucks,
that was
and then I picked Boston.
Are you
shit.
still down on the Miami Heat, or do you think they can beat the Lakers in the finals?
Do I think they can beat the Lakers? I think. Damn. You know what's crazy? We was just talking about this the other day too. I think they probably have the best matchup defensively to stop the Lakers. I think they can make it a series. You got Jimmy
Yeah.
Butler. He's one of the best LeBron stoppers. Not like stopping LeBron, but he's one of the best at defending LeBron in
He
the
is.
league. You got Bam. Bam can go one-on-one with AD defensively. Then you got shooters everywhere. Duncan, Tyler Herro, Jay Crowder. Even though he cooled off a little bit in the ECF, he can still
Jay
he's still
Crowder shit was
dangerous.
broke.
He's still dangerous on the 3-point line. You got Iggy, that veteran leadership. You see what he just did last game. So you got Iggy, who also could play defense. You
Got a
got
good
bodies.
coach.
You got bodies to throw at LeBron. You got Spoelstra, who knows how LeBron plays. He knows the best LeBron that we've ever seen. So you got that guy, and with all those pieces, I think it's gonna be tough because they got Dwight, they got LeBron. But I think Miami would have posed up a better matchup just off the simple fact of the leadership. Boston doesn't. They have a lot of young guys, but they don't have that coach that like Brad Stevens is a great coach, but he's not a championship coach. And championship coach just always got that thing about them. They just know adjustments. And Eric Spoelstra he knows how LeBron is. He knows how he's gonna play. So I think Miami's gonna win.
The finals.
I think they could win. You asked me if I think they can win. I think they can win.
I think Miami's gonna win.
Will they win?
Will they win?
Sheesh.
You know what? I'm gonna take Lakers in 7. I got Lakers in 7 just because of LeBron.
And AD. Don't forget that, man.
Yeah, but it's LeBron.
Yeah,
so,
not like
Jason, you picked the Lakers to make the
I've
championship.
been saying it all year.
And
I'm not gonna switch
I
my
guess
pick
you picked
now.
them to win it as well. So
Yeah, they got them winning it all. I mean, First things first, I think everything that you said was correct, spot on. I think that they do have multiple defenders to throw at LeBron. I think they do have a great 3-point shooting team. Bam is no scrub. He's really good. He had a good game the last game against Boston. So I do think the Lakers are going to win in 6 games just solely off the fact that I think LeBron James and Anthony Davis are the best 2 players, obviously stepping into this series. I don't think Miami has matched up with a team that's this good in the East. Milwaukee was, I had Milwaukee going all the way, but you two had Milwaukee not winning. Boston.
How can you say that, but you thought the Bucks were the best team in the league?
I didn't say they were the best team in the league.
Yes, you did.
I've been saying all years the Lakers are the best team in the league.
Okay.
Right?
I
really have.
Just making sure.
I don't know.
We'll go back. So, just giving out the fact that LeBron AD, the Lakers role players are playing really well. Dwight Howard is playing really well. He had a good series. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has actually been playing pretty well, 43% from the 3 in the playoffs. Rondo, we've seen playoff Rondo in full effect. The only player on the roster that has been just honestly terrible is Danny Green. If he can just hit some 3-pointers and space the floor and defend the guards that the Heat have, I think the Lakers win this in 6 games. But yeah, just giving out the fact that I don't think Miami has played a team to the caliber of the Lakers that are that good with 2 superstars surrounded by role players that are coming into their own right now, and including Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee's pretty good. You can get him in the game 2 centers that do the same thing. So I got Miami in 6. Not Miami. I got LA in 6. I think everything you said is spot on, but I just think having the 2 best players in the series surrounded by role players that are coming into their own is just going to be too much for Miami to overcome in the series. So I got Lakers in 6.
You guys both have the Lakers. This is going to sound crazy because they're underdogs. I'm going to make it even crazier.
Hurry up.
The Miami Heat are going to beat the Lakers in 4 games.
He's trolling.
Now I'm playing.
Yo, he scared me.
But listen, I have 2 takes on this series. So I either think the Lakers win in 6 or Miami wins in 7.
You think LeBron's going to lose in Game 7?
The best Game 7 player of all time?
I think the Lakers can't have it go to 7. They have to finish the Heat off in 6, and I say it because when you talked about Jimmy Butler, but I think the real LeBron stopper is Andre Iguodala, the 2015 Finals MVP.
That was 5 years
ago. Who won it
ago.
over a 2-time MVP in Stephen Curry because he was so great defensively. Well, I think he should have used a LeBron stopper.
Iguodala as a player in 5 years from now, he's lost a step. He's not like what he once was.
I still think,
you know what I mean?
I still think he has a bunch of steps.
He lost a step 2 years ago.
I still think he has a bunch of steps in him. The way he's guarded James Harden in past series last year, 2 years ago, is just amazing. Iguodala has been great. And I know that River has a sour taste in his mouth because whenever he hears the word Andre Iguodala, whenever he hears his name, he thinks about how he robbed Steph Curry from the Finals MVP. But I'm here to tell you he deserved that way more than that guy.
I think I'm more excited that Steph robbed the rings of James Harden than anything else.
And look, Andre Iguodala is not the only player. You have somebody who has as gritty and tough as nails as Jay Crowder. You got Jimmy Butler. And let's not forget about a great defender that the Heat have that people don't talk about enough. Derrick Jones Jr. He's not just a great defender. He's not just a defender.
He's a great defender. He doesn't play a lot, but he's a great.
He's not just a dunker.
He can't score.
He can't shoot.
He's literally just there for lobs.
He's not just a dunker. He's a great defender, and he could come in the game and he could do a great job. And you talked about Bam on AD. Look, both teams shoot 35% from the 3, even though the Heat take about like 6 to 7 more. But there's one stat that the Heat do way better than the Lakers, and that's free throw shooting. The Heat are at 82%. The Lakers are at 75%. So, and I think that's a huge difference. If the game is down to the wire,
teams that hit their
that
free throws
is going to hurt the Lakers down the stretch. Not being able to hit your free throws, and the biggest knock on LeBron in his career is his free throw shooting. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, look, I think that the Heat beat them in 7 unless the Lakers beat them in 6. That's my take on it.
You think they're beating a Game 7 LeBron?
No.
Me neither.
I don't know what he's talking about.
They'll beat a Game 7 LeBron.
I think he's just...
Game 7 LeBron is different, bro. It's the best player, Game 7 player ever.
Not against Iguodala, man.
Look at his stats in the game 7. It's just
You
ridiculous.
said Iguodala is a. You talked about him stopping James Harden.
I never said he stopped him.
You
Nobody
said
can stop James Harden.
Nobody. Anyways,
nobody's ever done it.
You said he can guard James
Dort.
Harden.
They stop him.
You said he can guard James Harden, right? You know that was like 2 years ago, right? And have
They
you
faced
watched?
them last year in the playoffs, semifinals?
Oh yeah, pardon me. Last year, you know, like have you seen Iggy play this anytime?
I've seen him play.
He's a shell of himself on
No, not. It's not even close.
Bad.
He's not the same guy.
defensively. He's still solid, but I don't think he's not as elite as he once was defensively anymore.
He's definitely lost his step.
Yeah, it's 5 years ago he's talking about.
But the Lakers get a lot of slack with their role players because I think the role players are actually great. I like Danny Green.
Alex Caruso.
I like Caldwell Pope. Caruso's a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
And
You guys think they'll utilize the zone, Miami?
Yeah.
I don't think they will because LeBron is too good at picking apart defenses. What I do think is that the Lakers are going to go small this series. You're not going to see a lot of Dwight Howard or JaVale McGee.
Bam is going to outwork them.
You're not even that. It's just if you play big, then Anthony Davis has to guard the perimeter more, and he has to switch off on a lot of the actions that Miami does. So that's why I think they're going small. But look, I think somebody who doesn't get enough credit on the Lakers is Kyle Kuzma. He plays good. He plays good defense. He gives great energy, great effort. People like to make fun of him a lot, but he's actually
the most inconsistent player.
But
on the team.
He's a really good player, and he's been huge for the Lakers. He's been playing really well.
I will say he's improved defensively. That's true. He has. Not as bad as it once was for him.
And playing in a market like LA next to LeBron, there's a lot of expectations on Kuzma being a third guy. And in my opinion, he's handled all of that well. I don't think any player could have probably handled that better. He's taken a challenge. He's been great. He's listened. He's gotten better. And Frank Vogel is one of the best coaches in the NBA, in my opinion.
He's underrated.
He's great. Kyle Kuzma's great.
He's not great.
He's great for that team.
He's been inconsistent.
I'll tell you this. I don't think that Brandon Ingram would have been better for them. I
never said he would be. I think Brandon Ingram has an ego problem. I think it would have crippled them. I think he needed to go out there and experience on his own. But I do think that you're hyping Kuzma, and he's been inconsistent all year. Yeah. Last 2 years.
How about in the playoffs? How has he been?
He's been inconsistent too. Some games he's good, some games he's not.
Yeah, he wasn't. He's been all right though, but he's very consistent. So that whole "he's been great" thing.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Please look up his numbers. I would love to know.
Wow, let me see this, man. Kuzma is awesome.
This guy got a new favorite player every week.
He's scoring 11 points, 46% from the field. It's pretty good. 32% from three.
It's not good.
It's not good. Getting 3 rebounds.
What's the free throws?
The stats don't show
look.
78% from the free throw line.
Could be better.
The stats just don't show his effort on defense. I think where he's really been underrated is on defense.
Wasn't great. He puts up 12
He's great for that
points a
team.
11.
That's a third star.
He's great for
11?
that team. That's
ridiculous.
He was supposed to be the third star.
He's not the third star. It's Rondo.
Nowadays, yeah.
Rondo's proved he's the third star.
But Kuzma is a great complimentary player. That's what he is.
A role player.
That's what complimentary is. I mean,
you're trying to flip it because that's not what you said.
Yeah, you said he was great.
Yeah, that's not what you said.
I said he was a great player for them.
You said he's a great. You said he was a great player. He's putting up great. You say he was putting up numbers. That's what you said.
I never said he was putting up numbers.
You said that he was that third star. That's what you really said.
No, I said
yes,
he
you
came
did,
into
bro.
LA and had expectations of being that third star.
And he handled it well.
He did handle it well.
How is 11 points handling that well?
Well, you just look at the stats, man. I watch the games, That's the difference between you and I, I think you're sure.
You watch the games and you really sit there and say he's the third star?
I never said he was the third star. When I said he handled the expectations of it well. In the beginning of the year, he had the expectations of being that third guy.
Yeah.
He showed you he's been great? That's what you said.
He's handled it well. A lot of people crumble playing next to LeBron.
Did he not say he's been great?
No, he said he's been great. Then we called him out and then he said no. But then he said he's great for this
team.
Your
hoodie says don't talk to me. I think people should talk to you more so they can educate you on subjects like this.
I promise you that wasn't funny.
I think
I promise you that wasn't
funny.
But this is what I'm saying. He's been great for that team. He's been great for that team. He's a complimentary player. And Kuzma gets a lot of unheralded hate, but he should get some praise, man. Because he should get some praise. I love Kuzma.
No, you don't.
And this finals, I guarantee you, he scores 15 points a game.
He probably will.
That's what he needs to do.
Yeah, he literally needs to do that. But he's been inconsistent all year. Even last year, he's inconsistent.
Young player, first time in the playoffs.
He's like 25, bro.
Still a young player, first time in the playoffs. Still first time in the playoffs.
That's true. Tyler Herro's first time in the playoffs, too.
He's not been too consistent either.
He was better than Kuzma.
Way better.
Nah, yeah, he was.
He's 20.
He is.
So all
But
that
still, young players are going to be inconsistent in the playoffs, man. That just is what it is.
One
there are
guy's
some
25.
outliers.
Yeah.
Both guys first time in the playoffs still.
One guy's 20,
Kuzma
the other
plays
guy's
next
25.
to LeBron. Another guy plays in a system that moves the ball extremely well, and
You
everybody
think Kuzma
gets
will
touches.
last in that system? He can't shoot.
He could probably last in that system.
He'd be like Derrick Jones Jr. He'd be on the bench.
No, not at. Wow, that's crazy. Not at all. They would love to have.
Nobody
Kuzma
wants.
there.
He's like a. We'll see, man. You got Miami in 7.
I have Miami in 7,
Or
Lakers
Lakers
in
in
6. And you'll
I see what you're doing.
Kuzma.
You're
is
trying to
just
not be
doing
wrong. Yeah, I see what you're doing. You're ridiculous.
No, I'm just saying. That's what I have.
you have to pick a team.
Why
Well, he
do
said
I have
Lakers
to?
in
I
6,
said
so
Lakers in
it's-
6.
No, but then if
not,
they don't, no, because you're trying not to be wrong. Pick one
no,
team.
I'm just saying.
So
I
he
got
got the
I have
Lakers.
the Lakers
So
in
Lakers
6.
Okay.
But if it goes
No,
7, I
that's
have
it.
Miami.
Lakers
That's
in
what I
6.
said.
Lakers in
That's what I
6.
said.
So we all agree on Lakers.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Miami if
See?
it goes 7.
Oh my goodness.
You could have two opinions like that. Because
can't.
I think in Game
You're
7, Miami
contradicting
beats
yourself.
them. No, I'm not contradicting myself. Because if it's 6 games and Miami wins, then I was wrong. Because I picked the Lakers in 6.
So you were gonna pick Miami? I would rather pick Miami in 6 than Lakers than Miami in 7.
No, I think the Lakers close it out. I think they beat every single team in the Western Conference in 5 games. I think the finals only takes them 6 games.
You know, the teams are trash.
What teams?
The teams Lakers face.
No, now they were trash.
No, that's just a shot at James Harden. They
I'm
suck.
about to say, man.
It's just trash.
We're about to talk about James Harden, and more
Soften.
specifically, we're going to talk
He's
about
nice.
the Philadelphia
Soft.
He's mad nice,
76ers.
though.
There are
He's
reports.
He's mad nice.
They'll never win a ring.
There are reports that Mike D'Antoni
Doesn't
is
mean
looking
nothing.
at
You got
the
no blame.
Philadelphia 76ers job. And Mike D'Antoni wants to go there, and they're saying that the Sixers, they want D'Antoni there because he can lure James Harden to come to Philly. James Harden's contract is up in 2 years, but they can trade for him. I think we all would agree that they have the pieces to trade for him.
Yeah, easily.
So who should the Sixers trade for James Harden? Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons?
And this is with the assumption that Mike D'Antoni is going to be the coach.
Yep.
Who do you have them trading for?
I would have them trade Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons?
Yeah, just
Do Ben Simmons too?
Nope.
I was going to say Embiid.
I'd have him say Ben
too.
Simmons.
Small ball, in a small ball, if Mike D'Antoni is going there in a small ball system, Embiid wouldn't work. And he's clogging the paint. You want that versatile guy than Ben
I
Simmons.
mean, but Ben Simmons and James Harden both need the ball.
Ben Simmons doesn't need the ball.
I mean, he wants to run point. I mean, what else could he do? Can't really
Harden
shoot.
was one of the most efficient off the ball scorers in his time in OKC.
That was
and when
years
asked-
ago.
Oh, what the?
And when asked,
That was years ago, though.
and when asked
God,
after
bro.
the finals,
If he could do it, he could do it. Yeah.
And when asked after they lost to the Lakers in the semifinals,
could he play off ball? He
Kevin
said he
O'Connor
could.
asked a great question to James Harden: "Would you be willing to play off the ball?" And he said, "I'll do whatever it takes to win, man."
That was 2012.
No, this past year they asked him that question.
Just the playoffs.
2020.
He's chatting, bro. He has
I know that you don't look up that stuff. Don't talk to me. Talk to you now. No, so you know. I'm saying-
why would I look up
but I'm
something about
saying-
something he's not going to do?
James Harden, this is why he's going to win a ring. This is why he's going to win a championship. He's going to adapt his game. And Joel Embiid will be the guy to get traded if they do, in fact, try to trade for James Harden. And it's going to be the best decision that the Sixers have ever made. Because Philadelphia 76ers right now have a dilemma. Their dilemma is that the two stars cannot coexist with one another. And Joel Embiid is the odd man out because he has injury problems, he has motor problems, and he's constantly complaining. He's even been firing shots on Twitter wanting to get out of Philly, talking
That's true.
about the
Jimmy was
playoffs
right.
and how nice it was there. But look, they go to Philly, James Harden, Ben Simmons, that might be the most unstoppable duo in basketball in 2020-2021 season. And the reason is because Harden is so great offensively and Ben Simmons is so great defensively. Ben Simmons finished top 4 and DPOY voting.
First team all defense.
You'll have the best defender, probably top 5 best defender in the NBA in Simmons. Versatile, can guard 1 through 5. And James Harden, the best offensive player in the league. So, yeah, they will work. And I think Harden has been dying to play off the ball. Now he has a guy like Simmons. Simmons, yeah, he can't shoot, but he's not like Westbrook. He has IQ. He's a smart player. And he has an advantage. He's 6'10" and can post up anytime he wants. Man, if you switch guards onto him, it's easy chicken. It's barbecue chicken, like Shaq says.
Guards guard him, right?
And listen, Ben Simmons, Mike D'Antoni's system, in his system, Ben Simmons is going to take a leap like Steve Nash took when he won the MVPs. Like Russell Westbrook having his best year. Like even James Harden took. Ben Simmons is going to take his game to another level. We're going to see a new and improved Ben Simmons, something we've never seen before from him. He's going to be amazing with James Harden next to him.
You want to comment on that?
I mean, I forgot about the reports of Joel Embiid actually throwing shots on Twitter. I have seen it. So, I mean, he might be the odd man out. But from a GM perspective, I would trade away Ben Simmons just because he can't really play off the ball. He's not a good shooter. Embiid's an inside-out center who can somewhat
he shoots better
shoot.
than Ben Simmons.
Somewhat shoot. And
but you leave him open.
You want him shooting, but like you said, you know how you said Ben Simmons can post anybody up? Joel Embiid can post anybody up and score on them as well. And he's really elite defensively, and I just think a James Harden and Embiid duo is just I think that's personally better than a Ben Simmons and James Harden duo.
The reason I don't like that is because I feel like an Embiid and Harden duo is going to force Harden to have the ball and have a high usage throughout the game. And I feel like it's not going to be much better than when Harden had Dwight. A bunch of pick and rolls, post-ups and something. But I don't see Embiid being a good fit, especially in the D'Antoni system.
What's wrong with you?
Especially in this system.
No, stop. What's wrong with you?
Dwight in Houston?
He's going to be better.
Joel Embiid was a better post player than Dwight has ever been in his life. Ever.
You know the problem. The problem with playing
Harden, Rockets picked up a big man who had no post game. All you did was throw lobs because that's all he really did.
You have a guy
at Embiid you can throw it to, and he can actually go get a bucket.
James Harden doesn't need to force up that many shots. They could give it to Joel Embiid.
Like what?
I don't know if you
27 points per game.
I don't think.
Tried to disrespect.
I don't think
with great defense.
What you mean? Dwight Howard is a better player than him all time. Disrespecting Embiid.
All time,
all time. Embiid to Dwight is
offensively.
No, but you're talking about the Houston.
But what I'm saying, his first year he was great there.
But you don't think
this is what I'm saying?
Great? I mean, Joel Embiid could be great.
Did he say he wasn't that good in Houston?
Yeah, he said his first year. He said he was Clint Capella.
His first year he wasn't though. And his last two he was.
You don't think Joel Embiid can have a great first year with James Harden?
This is the thing.
Great.
I don't know if you guys followed that Houston dilemma with Dwight and James Harden, but
he had no post game.
But the reason why they didn't coexist is because Harden wanted to run pick and roll all the time, and Dwight Howard wanted to post up.
And why did he want to run pick and roll?
Posting up is not an efficient thing in this modern NBA.
But they played years ago.
Analytics show that posting up is it's just not good analytically. There's better plays in that.
Analytics tell us that the mid-range shot is one of the worst shots.
And all the best players in the league.
All the best players in the clutch time use it. Bro, screw analytics, bro. Screw it. Like, forget it, bro.
Analytics mean a lot.
Analytics told us 3-point shooting is the... Analytics told you guys to run that small ball, and you lost in 5. Screw analytics.
Small ball works.
Yeah, not for y'all, though.
Mavericks ran small ball.
Small.
You know that small ball is not necessarily.
It's one big and 4.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying. When did it work?
Small ball is going 5 out. Dallas had the best offensive rating of all time last year because they went 5 out,
and they lost in the first round.
6.
Okay,
could have went 7 if they didn't lose Porzingis that one game. Though.
Lost in the first round, though.
Yeah, with a 20-year-old guy in Luka, 20-year-old.
Still lost.
Yeah, but they're gonna be one of the greatest teams. We're gonna talk about the Mavericks in a little bit, but what I'm saying is that Embiid and Harden, I don't think it's gonna work, and defensively, it's definitely not gonna work, especially in the modern NBA. Embiid can't switch onto guards. He can't switch onto perimeter players. It's not gonna work. I'd rather have Ben Simmons guard 1 through 5 and be able to switch everything. That's how it works. I mean, it does work.
Is Al Horford still going to be on the roster?
He has to be.
They probably have to trade him too. But what I'm saying is that the best teams use analytics. Analytics have driven this 3-point era. The team that's in the finals right now, the Miami Heat, they are in the finals because they use a 3-point shot so much.
But you said they haven't been shooting it that good as of recently, right?
I never said that. They're shooting 35% right now.
And the Lakers are too, right?
Yeah, they're like the same, but the Lakers aren't a bad 3-point shooting team. That was a narrative, but they're not a bad 3-point shooting team. So what I'm saying is that I'd rather have Simmons than Embiid. I mean, you guys want to talk all about that stuff about Dwight Howard and Embiid, but I think it's disrespectful to speak on Dwight Howard's name, like you guys were just speaking on his name right now, like Embiid and him aren't kind of on the same level.
Offensively,
when Harden first got to Houston, they were.
Offensively, it's not close.
Joel
Embiid is better.
The post game.
Joel Embiid is better than Dwight Howard ever was offensively.
Joel Embiid can space the floor and shoot mid ranges too.
Yeah, but But you're talking about spacing the floor. But we're talking about just you were talking about strictly just the post game.
No, you just said.
Oh, no, it's not close.
No, I think it's pretty close.
Joel Embiid has like, I'm not saying he's as good, but he has like Hakeem Olajuwon level post scoring. Not as good, but he can do it.
You said you don't like the Embiid and Harden thing because you don't want to be running pick and rolls all the time. You don't have to do that with Embiid.
You can throw the ball into him in the paint.
You don't have to do that. He can get his own. That's the thing. You can't run 5 out. Wait. You can't run. You can't run 5 out with Ben Simmons.
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can if Ben Simmons is handling the ball.
And then you want James Harden off ball? What are you gonna do? Tell me, just show me a play. Just show me a play real quick. Ben Simmons is at the top.
Hold up. Dude,
run 5 out. Just run 5 out real quick.
Can people sag off for James Harden?
No,
but people can sag off Ben Simmons.
Okay,
definitely
by far.
And if they sag off of Ben Simmons, what does that create? It creates a one-on-one matchup with Ben Simmons on that player, right?
Yeah, he averages 15 points. It's not like a
wait. Hold up, can't Ben Simmons just drive on him?
Yeah, he can possibly miss or make.
He can't. And what if happens if somebody helps? That's a pass. You
don't help.
You don't help. So Ben Simmons is gonna have his way all game.
Beat you with 2-pointers all game.
Yeah, we can. That's literally the game plan. They literally, bro. People literally play Ben Simmons back and just say, "Let him beat us." And he averages 15 points a game.
Yeah,
bro.
but that the reason why they're able to defend him so well is because Philly doesn't have great shooters.
You're gonna have the same shooter if you trade Embiid and you keep Ben Simmons. Okay, if you trade Embiid and you keep Ben Simmons, you're gonna have the same shooters Embiid had, and you just said they're not that great. So what are you talking about?
Well, having Embiid versus having Harden spaces out the floor that much more.
But you just said they're not great. So if we're running 5 out and you said the shooters are already not that great, nobody's going to guard Ben Simmons.
They're not that great, but they can shoot. I mean, what? Tobias is 36% from 3, 35% from 3.
That's if you
Harden,
keep him. I think they're going to try to trade him.
Josh Richardson is the baddest shooter.
Who are they going to have to get rid of, though, for Harden, realistically? That's another thing that has to go into all
They'll probably have
this.
to get rid of Embiid,
Tobias
some picks, and maybe Josh Richardson combo. I mean, this a thing. I mean,
so you're already losing one of your best defenders
and shooters on the roster.
But all I'm saying is that
sign some players.
All I'm saying is that 5 out would work with Ben Simmons.
Hell.
5 out would work because Ben Simmons would be handling the ball. Harden can play off the ball.
He gonna just stand there?
If you watch, he can move off the ball too. The reason he doesn't move off the ball in Houston, if you know, is because Mike D'Antoni actually said in their post.
So when has he done it? So when has he done it?
In OKC, he was amazing at it. One of the best
scorers
in the league.
Stop. What?
He was one of the best off-ball scorers in the league. He was in OKC.
That was 20. I'm talking about recently. When has he done it recently? He's never done it recently. So we don't have. There is
other than
OKC when he was the 6th man and we knew the clear cut
third option.
He was the 6th man.
Third option.
We knew the best players were Kevin Durant and Westbrook. It was never like those are the two, and James Harden was number 3. So other than that year, you don't have full concrete evidence of him doing it in Houston as the man. That's what you're telling me.
When you look into things, you have to think about why.
He did not answer the question. He did not answer the question.
You have to look at why.
Can you answer and then talk?
Because what you're saying doesn't make sense.
And then talk?
I can't get it.
Why you don't make sense right now?
I'm asking a question.
Yeah, and I'm answering it with
no,
this.
you're not. I just want you to say yes or no.
It's not a yes or no question. Some answers aren't yes or no.
Do you have concrete evidence?
Is every test in school multiple choice? Is every test in school yes or no? It's not.
JC, is this a yes or no question?
This is an essay question. I have to give my opinion on it.
No, I'm asking no question.
So you think that 1 year is concrete evidence that he can play off ball?
It's a simple yes. That's a yes or no.
All his years in OKC. But the reason why, because I know that you don't follow what these coaches say. That's why.
A concrete answer.
I know
I didn't say you were right or wrong. I said in Houston.
I'm saying my answer right now. So let me talk.
Man, like he's not answering. He keeps talking about other stuff. As the man, yes or no? As the man in Houston,
it's not a yes or no question. It's not a yes or no question.
Is there concrete evidence of him playing off ball? Yes or no?
It's not a yes or no question. Because if you listen to what the coaches say, the reason why
I'm asking you.
The reason why, but I have to get my information from the coaches. We get our information from.
So is there concrete evidence? Yes or no?
Let me answer. You keep asking questions, but let me answer. Mike D'Antoni answered this question in the post-game press conference because a reporter asked him, "Why doesn't Harden play off the ball?" And Mike D'Antoni said this. He said, "Why would we do that? The reason we don't do that is because he's already playing on the ball so much.
So
if we play him off the ball and have him moving around screens, he's going to be mad tired playing on the ball as much as he does.
So the answer to my question is no. There is no concrete evidence in Houston.
Pretty much.
So you could have said no.
No,
instead
but there's
of
a
talking
reason for that. There's a reason for that.
Okay, but you could have said no.
But you don't understand that
But the reason means no.
Yeah, all you had to do is say no.
But the reason means it's no because of this and that.
Okay,
it's not because
I never said, but I never said you was wrong. I just wanted to hear a yes or no.
You wanted to use that as evidence that he cannot play off the ball. He can play off the ball.
No, I didn't know. It's just there's no evidence. You love evidence. You love facts. You love talking about stats. There is no evidence.
The evidence that he's a great player. That's the evidence. He's a great player.
Not every great player can play off ball. That's a fact.
James Harden can because he's done it before. So
when he wasn't a great player, what are you talking about?
He was a great player in OKC.
He wasn't. James Harden in Houston and James Harden in OKC are not the same James Harden.
James Harden.
So what are you talking about? You're comparing a superstar player, a top 5-6 player in the league, to a player that we don't. Was he? I don't even know. In 2012, he wasn't probably top 15, top
6 man of the year.
Yeah, he was just a 6 man of the year. He's a J.R. Smith. That's who you're comparing.
He's not a J.R. Smith. What?
In OKC, he was a J.R. Smith, and you're comparing a J.R. Smith to a top 5, top 6 player in the league.
I can argue that James Harden was probably just as good as he was in OKC than when he was in his first year in Houston. If Russell Westbrook was not the second option, I think. It's actually you can actually make the debate that James Harden should have never been the one to be traded and Russell Westbrook should have got traded.
You can make that debate.
Because Harden was probably better than him at that time. So he was a great player at that time.
You're going off.
Was he a superstar? No, but he already said he's going to adjust. He wants to win. He's going to do whatever it takes to win.
Just because you say you're going to do it doesn't mean you can do it.
I mean, there's no reason why. Has he given you a reason why he can't do it?
Has he given me a reason why he can?
Because he did it before. He's done it before.
Stop. Yo, OKC was 8 years ago, bro.
But he's done it before.
And that was when he wasn't.
Tom Brady was great 8 years ago. He's still great now. So it shows you he could do it.
What the hell?
Some players are great regardless of what they're doing. James Harden is one of those players. He'll be great in anywhere he goes in any system because he's that great. He's going to be one of the best offensive players of all time, if not the best. He's one of the greatest.
They could just run around or he can play off ball all day.
Thompson.
Yeah, like what?
I mean, he's not going to be to the level that Steph Curry's in, but Steph is in a system that does that. Steve Kerr's system does that. Did he do that with Mark Jackson? No.
He played a little bit off ball.
Did he do it with Mark Jackson? No.
Yes, he did.
Steve Kerr.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He didn't do it as much as with Steve Kerr. He didn't do it as much as Steve Kerr, but unlike your boy James Harden, he still did it with Mark Jackson.
So would Steph Curry did it if he was in?
First of all, Jared, you know how I know you're dumb. You don't watch basketball because he did it with Mark Jackson. Because Jared Jack used to play the one a lot, and Steph Curry and Clay used to run off ball. So you don't know what you're talking about. You never do.
Wait, so
you never do. When it comes to Steph, you don't know what you're talking about. Jared Jack used to play the one. Steph and Clay used to come off ball. They always did it.
I'll give you a yes or no question.
They always did it. They always played off ball.
Steph would have played off ball in Mike D'Antoni's system?
With in Houston? Probably not.
No, in any Mike D'Antoni system, would he have played off the ball?
Probably not.
All right, so.
But I can see how easy it was to answer that. See how easy it was to answer. Well, you could have just answered, is there concrete evidence? Yes or no?
No, because there is concrete evidence that he's played off the ball before.
As a superstar win. As a superstar win.
It's the same guy. James Harden's the same guy, bro. This is James Harden we're talking about. He's the same guy. James Harden is James Harden. Yes, he is. Still got a lovely beard. Still got a great game. Still got a great jump shot. James Harden, he's the same guy. He's the same guy. He's gotten better over the years, but still James Harden. Still one of the best of all time.
Well, we got to see, man.
That's who James Harden is.
We got to see.
Still one of the best.
Wait, but why are we talking about this if D'Antoni's going to be there and most likely he probably won't play off ball?
Harden will play off ball.
If Ben Simmons stays, right?
I think if Ben Simmons stays, he'll play off the ball.
Okay.
The question is, are they going to win?
They'll win. Harden's going to win the championship. No doubt about it before it's all said and done. It might be next year.
Would that make Philly better? Realistically, would they win?
That would make Philly way better.
If they get James Harden, Ben Simmons, they trade Embiid, and you said Josh Richardson. Okay, those two gone.
And they have subpar shooters.
They have Shake Milton.
Ben
and
Simmons and
Harris.
James Harden sounds like the best duo in the NBA.
Anyways,
that sounds dangerous.
JC, do you think they would win? Honestly speaking, with the Bucks still around, Brooklyn's coming back. You got Toronto, you got Miami, you got Boston. Still, they're getting better.
I can't pick them to come out the East.
Literally, like James Harden, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but he's not going to take them over the hump. Sorry,
yeah, he will.
I have to see it
no
first.
Doubt about it.
I have to see it first.
I'm still like you bringing in James Harden is great, but I'm still confident that James Harden, a backcourt of James Harden and Ben Simmons, how much better is that really be on offense with Westbrook and James Harden? It's not that much better.
Stop
Offensively, it's really not that much better.
It's not.
It's actually a little bit worse.
With worse shooters, too.
Because now James Harden's going to have to do a little bit more offense because Ben Simmons is not going to try to score.
It sounds unstoppable.
I think they would. Personally, I think they should keep Embiid, but
Me too.
that's what I think.
You pick Simmons. You pick Simmons.
No, I'm changing my shit.
I think Embiid just for those.
Now
reasons.
I'm thinking about I'm changing my shit. I trade Ben Simmons because he can't score. You want to win. You want to win. Why would you trade Embiid, one of the few like guys who can like stop Giannis, and you're in the East? Like I don't get that.
He can't stop Giannis.
Okay, nobody can really stop anybody, but he's
do a
one of the
good
guys
job.
that can do a really great job.
Yeah.
On him. You're gonna keep Ben Simmons, who Giannis gladly he cooks him.
Yeah, he will.
He
cook
kills him.
Yeah, he does.
He's mad little. That makes sense to you? And then you got Miami.
Yeah. With Mike D'Antoni's system, I think that maximizes
Mike
Ben
D'Antoni's
Simmons.
system does nothing but show us you're never gonna win.
I mean,
He's never won. What do you mean Mike D'Antoni's system?
I mean, when has Houston ever been favored? Never been favored.
Just because you're not favored doesn't mean you can't win, bro. Stop using that as an
Miami
excuse.
wasn't favored.
Like what?
By
Like
a lot of people.
Yeah, come on, bro. Okay,
Miami wasn't
20
favored, and they're gonna lose to the team that the Rockets
but they weren't
lost to.
favored to.
That's
get
funny
to the
because he
championship,
loves
though.
talking about that 2012 season, but that same OKC season wasn't favored to beat the Spurs in the WCF, and they ended up winning.
Harden had a great series that series.
They're not, but
So
they wasn't
clutch.
favored. But it doesn't just because you're
When he
not
hit that
favored
three
doesn't
over
mean you can't
Kawhi.
win.
I don't think
When he hit
Curry
that
would
three
ever
over-
play like that against the Spurs.
When he hit that
He
three
gave
over
them
Kawhi.
40. Wait,
Remember that clutch three?
stop. He gave them 44
in the Western Conference Finals.
No, in the second round, he gave the Spurs 44. What are you talking
Did
about?
he win the series? Like
No,
the
they
OKC?
lost in 6.
Oh,
OKC
Harden
lost
won.
that same year.
Yo, what happened in the finals with Harden that year though? That was bad. That was bad though.
So young.
That-
He won't talk
that
about it.
was
He won't
bad.
talk
That
about it.
was
Now he's
bad.
young.
That was
bro.
bad.
The year that Harden made the playoffs, Curry didn't make it until like a year or two later.
You're acting like they didn't have KD. If Steph Curry had KD that year, they was going to the playoffs.
I don't know, man.
And Westbrook.
I don't know, man.
Bro was off the bench.
I don't know, man. I think Harden's just way more impactful. Simple as that.
He's never won in his life.
He's won. I think he won a high school championship. Think
He didn't win
won
in college.
some.
He went to Arizona State.
He's made it far. You know, he's from Compton. He's not.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's from Compton.
Yeah, he is. He's from LA.
I didn't
from
know he was
gutter.
from Compton.
You about to be like not like Steph Curry who was raised
Steph
in a
Curry
good
was
household.
raised around.
I knew.
NBA
What's
players.
wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I
James
knew he was
Harden,
gonna say that.
like it just resembles a career so similarly. James Harden has to do everything. You know, he has to get it out the mud in the NBA. He doesn't have great teammates. Steph Curry, some of the greatest teams he's played with. The only reason he has championships. So I think it resembles how they.
You're mad
they
at.
were,
You should
their
be more mad at
upbringing
the
was.
GM than Steph Curry. Like, that's what you should be mad at. You should be more mad at the GM, if anything. That's the GM's fault.
No, I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying these are the facts.
I mean,
You know,
Clay,
it's
Steph, and
true.
Draymond all got drafted.
No, yeah, but I never said I was mad at it. I'm
No,
just
but you
saying,
can't just like they
Just
all got
'cause-
drafted.
just 'cause
Steph
they-
got better first.
because they got drafted.
Steph made the leap first.
Because they got drafted, does that mean that they weren't a great team?
No, they
They're
were,
still a
but
great
you acting
team.
like
that's
Steph
what-
got better first.
Steph
though.
got better first. Why was he drafted first? He
Yeah.
was drafted
Yeah.
before. Okay, so that's what's supposed to happen.
Not necessarily.
And progression is supposed to happen.
Not
right?
necessarily.
I mean, shit, his leap was ridiculous.
Jaylen Brown
though.
got drafted before Tatum.
second pick, right?
Yeah, Jaylen Brown got drafted before Tatum.
Yeah,
Tatum made the leap
Jaylen
first.
Brown was more raw though.
But no.
coming into the
But
league.
you said that's how it's supposed to happen. It doesn't always happen.
It's
like
usually supposed to happen like that. Isn't
Not
that that's
necessarily.
how it's supposed to happen?
that. I mean, okay, if that's the case, Steph Curry won MVP. So he made the leap first. He won MVP. He did what he had to do.
Oh, yeah, he
one
made-
MVP, right? He changed the game.
He
He
made
changed
the
the
whole
best
game.
shooters of all time.
He
the
helped.
best shooter of all
He
time.
turned your man and his team into a small ball lineup. He did that. He started that trend.
He's the
Harden
reason my
changed the
team
league,
shoots
too.
threes.
Yeah, and they lost.
Harden's the reason why Lucas shoots the shots he shoots. Devin Booker shooting step backs. Jason Tatum shooting step backs. They both have changed the game in their own right.
Steph
Jason
changed it
Tatum
more,
learned all
though.
that from Kobe. What you talking about?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
He did get that from
Everybody's shooting step backs now because of James Harden. Simple as that.
Or maybe.
Kobe. Steph changed the game more, though.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about.
Because the 3-point shot, but James Harden changed it with the step back. No doubt about it.
Next topic.
So now this one is about
you
the
lost it with that one.
Minnesota Timberwolves. There was a report that came out that Karl Anthony Towns is as good as
It's
gone.
gone.
From the Minnesota Timberwolves. Why the Timberwolves would do this, I don't know, but Towns is signed from 2024. So they don't have to trade him, but do you guys think that he will get traded?
Do I think he will get traded?
They're bugging if they do.
Yeah.
They have nothing right now.
I'm just entertaining this just given the fact that he is traded. And, I mean, I'll start off by saying I think if Cat gets traded, I think the team that needs him the most and that he can benefit going to is the Boston Celtics. Yes. I will tell you why. Boston Celtics, okay, so I was talking to Joel earlier before the show. That was Boston's biggest downside of their lineups, whereas their center. I don't think Daniel Tice is that productive of a center.
Defensively.
Defensively, yeah, but, Boston is good defensively even without him, if you think about it. You add Karl Anthony Towns, a guy who shoots 40% from the three, has an inside-outside game.
You're trading offense for defense.
You pair him with Jaylen Brown. You pair him with Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker. With the right pieces, I think that team, would they have won if they had Cat last series? I don't know, but it's definitely a more intriguing and a lot better team with Karl Anthony Towns and Daniel Tice as your 5 who can do all that. And he's still relatively young, and you don't have to worry about re-signing him for the next 4 or 5 years because he's under contract. So if I was a team in the NBA that it was a match made in heaven, I think it would be Boston for Cat, just because given the fact that they're a young roster, he's signed for a long time, and they're competing to win now, and they're relatively young.
I used to like the old NBA where players would rock out with this one team and just
not like that anymore.
Out. Yeah, grind out and just get one. But I think Cat is probably gone. I think Minnesota, they tried to keep him.
He did D-Lo dirty if he leaves.
He was going to leave. He was going to go until they got D-Lo. That made him stay a little longer, but he's probably as good as gone. I think Minnesota's best option is to trade him, get some assets out of him. Yeah. Because it don't even make sense. They should keep him, I think, because that's a good cornerstone. Him, D-Lo, you're about to draft either Edwards or LaMelo Ball, but he's probably as good as gone, honestly.
Who do you think he goes to? What team do you think?
I think he goes to the Knicks, honestly.
To the Knicks? That's not a bad.
I think he goes to the Knicks. To be honest, I think
you saying that you like the old NBA. The old NBA was kind of the same way. If you don't win, players leave. Kevin Garnett left the Timberwolves. Darren Williams left the Jazz.
He got traded.
LeBron left. That's what Towns is going to do basically right now. Get traded.
He's going to force a trade.
So I think players who are in bad situations have always left their bad situation.
But LeBron was there for a minute. Like, he fought and rolled for them. Like, Cat ain't really like.
LeBron was there from what 2003 to 2010. So he was 7 years.
Yeah, he was there.
Cat's been in Minnesota since
4 or 5 years.
2014, right?
Yeah, but
6 years now.
Yeah, it's been really
Cat doesn't have that impact to do it though.
Yeah,
that's true. But you also not a hard worker though too. Like, it's like
he's mad nice though. But
you're getting paid before you really do something. I get it. I just
he's nice though.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta leave.
But look,
KG made a WCF with them boys.
Yeah,
I don't know if the rumors are true because I'd like to believe that Minnesota traded for D'Lo. They got a good player, Malik Beasley. They got the number 1 pick. I like to think that Towns wants to play with D'Lo, wants to stay there,
build something.
But Towns is signed through 2024, so they don't have to make any move on this unless he really wants out. I think he'll want out if they don't start winning next year.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the best team that he probably could go to is the Knicks. Because I think the only team that could probably fit him. Every team I think is pretty much they don't need Cat.
Yeah,
he offers no defense. He's a great offensive player, but he doesn't move the needle like Jokic does in terms of his playmaking. He's just a guy who's going to score, but he's not going to do much of anything
else.
Score and
rebound.
Stretch the floor.
Pretty much.
Stretch the floor at an elite level.
Another team I think that would be probably a good move if they were to trade for him would probably be the Indiana Pacers. Miles Turner wants to go. So does Oladipo. So you could throw in a trade package of Oladipo and Miles Turner, maybe some picks and get Cat. Cat with Sabonis. Got Malcolm Brogdon there. I think it wouldn't be a bad team.
It didn't give me it didn't turn me up.
How about a Cat for the right package? What
about the Cat to Phoenix?
I read that on a report.
Well, I don't like Cat to Phoenix.
Me neither, because they have DeAndre Ayton.
Devin Booker's his best friend. That's why I said that. They always wanted to play with each other.
That's true.
So
how would you feel about a Cat to Brooklyn if we traded had a solid package for him?
You would do what you. My take with Brooklyn has always been the same. You need defense more than offense.
Mm-hmm.
You can score with any team in the league.
But they were looking for that third star. I don't know if you feel Cat could be that third star. I think he could.
But
I feel like you give up too much depth for him. I read an article saying that
you give up too much,
and he fits our system, our 3-point shooting system very well.
You give up too much depth, and you give up too much defense because he's a bad defender. So like I said, you could get a third star. But a guy who can play both ways, too.
I know Cat isn't the best defender, but has he really been surrounded by any good defenders for his stint in Minnesota that helps him?
He hasn't.
So that matters.
I don't
too.
think you need to be surrounded by good defenders to play good defense.
For him, I feel like it would matter for him.
That's true.
Just being like, I mean, Minnesota these past couple of years, I've checked their rankings. They've been dead last in defensive rating and all that stuff.
Thing is, I feel that
he doesn't help that at any
He
rate.
doesn't
Cat
help it,
gets
but he
traded,
definitely deserves help on defensive.
Minnesota
side.
has to trade D'Lo at that point because you can't keep D'Lo. And there are reports that saying that Minnesota is eyeing LaMelo. So maybe
D'Lo,
they might draft LaMelo, trade D'Lo, and trade Cat and build around LaMelo. You
that's
never
going to
know.
be a long time. Man, it's going to take them a while.
But if that would probably be
Where
the
would
best
D'Lo
case
go,
scenario.
though?
Honestly, I don't even know. At this point, he's getting tossed around.
Yeah, I don't know where he would go.
I don't
Go
know
to the
where he
Knicks.
goes.
You guys would take D'Lo and Cat and just run wild?
Hell yeah, he would.
In the East, yeah.
Hell yeah.
In
That's
the
not a
West,
bad
in the West
team.
I don't
That's
think
not
it
bad.
works, but in the East, I think it works.
Yeah.
That's not a bad team.
D'Lo has to find a home, man.
Yeah, I really need him to find a home, too. I like D'Lo.
Now we're going to talk about one of the better teams in the Western Conference, up-and-coming teams, the Dallas Mavericks.
Whoa.
They're nice.
They got one of the best players in the NBA in Luka Doncic. Probably a top 20, top 15 player, depending on who you ask. And
Top
Kristaps
10.
Porzingis.
Oh, I thought you were going with Luka.
I was like
what the
top
hell?
10, bro.
So this is the question. Who is the missing piece, the player that the Dallas Mavericks need to get for them to take the leap and contend legitimately in the Western Conference?
Player? It's going to be tough to give you a player.
I can give you a player.
Who?
Like
They need a scorer, another scorer.
not Paul George, but like a Paul George type player.
Who's that?
Just like somebody like
Like a Drew Holiday?
no, like you need a wing that can score, like a multi-dimensional wing, like a Paul George, Jason Tatum mold, that type of guy.
I have two.
Who?
My first player is Victor Oladipo.
No, that's not
I
that
think-
bad. It's as bad as you think it is.
I think
He was actually one of my players too. That's why.
I'd love Victor Oladipo there, but his second player, and I just like this player there for the
Are you
AS.
gonna say PJ Tucker?
No, I like this player for
Tuck.
this. I like this player for the aesthetic of it. You get this player there. You got a lot of foreign guys that are starting. You got Luka. You got Porzingis. You got Maxi Kleber. This guy is Danilo Gallinari. I think Danilo Gallinari. This
not bad.
team was already the best offensive rated team in NBA history. They had the best offensive rating. Danilo Gallinari takes that over the top. He's shooting 40% from three. He's averaging 19. People have injury concerns about him, but he's played 60-plus games his last 2 years. And
he can create his own shot.
He can create his own shot. He has some handle. He can go off the dribble. He can spot up really well. He's 6'10", so he can shoot over anybody. And I think if you have Gallinari, they already shoot 37% from three without him. Mm-hmm. If you have a starting lineup of Luka, Gallinari, Kristaps, Finney-Smith, Tim Hardaway Jr., Seth Curry.
He said Seth Curry.
Or even Maxi Kleber. This might be the best space team in the NBA. There's no way you can guard them. And that's also counting that Luka's going to improve his shot. He's shooting like 31% right now. 32. If he improves his shot, this team is going to be the most unstoppable offensive team of all time.
They already were, but technically.
Was the question who's like the third star to get them to the chip?
Just to have them contending legitimately. So maybe going to the second round, going to the conference finals.
I don't think D'Lo would do that. Danilo would take them over the top.
You think so?
I don't think so. Not over the top.
I mean, I think Drew Holiday would be a perfect player for that team, personally, because I know New Orleans is looking to trade him. Really good defensively. I don't think he needs the ball in his hands to score as much as people think he does. I think he can give you his 15, 16 points a game with elite defense in the backcourt, solid playmaking when Luka Doncic leads the game. I just think that since he's a guy that New Orleans wants to get rid of, I think Dallas should pick him up.
I like the aesthetic of it. I would love to see Luka, Porzingis, Kleber, and Gallinari on the floor at the same time.
Foreign word right there. And Marjanovic. That's a foreign team.
That's a big lineup.
That is.
And Gallinari 6'10", and I know people shame him on his defense, but this year He wasn't that bad on defense.
He
was a part of one of the clutchest lineups in the NBA.
Drew Holiday?
Like, I saw you nodding your head like, that could work. Like
Drew Holiday, I feel like he could fit anywhere.
Yeah, I feel like
he's such a just throw him in.
Defensively, he's so elite.
I mean, the Danilo one is cool because Danilo is also another guy who could fit anywhere. I just don't think that would take them over the top. I think that would just make them a
second round team at best.
Maybe, yeah, at best. He's a really good player though. I wouldn't. The first guy you like, Oladipo, I don't know about that one because we still don't know like
if he's gonna come back.
Which Oladipo we're gonna get back? If we're gonna get the struggling Oladipo back, it wouldn't help them defensively though. He's still really good.
Yeah,
but
I feel like that's kind of like the same thing as
what
Drew
about
Holiday.
what about how would you guys feel about Bradley Beal?
I was gonna say that, but
I
I feel like
Bradley
it doesn't
Beal
work
there.
just because Bradley Beal's so ball dominant.
I think if you can,
he can play on ball,
but he's
though.
better than Luka though.
If they'd be able to sign, I think if they sign Danilo, they can also sign another player.
I think so.
So if they sign Danilo, they can probably sign a guy like a Marcus Morris or just a grit and grind type of guy
Not a bad sign.
who's going to play defense and he could shoot. Like maybe a guy like Jay Crowder or something. But so that could complete their team. They could have a really good lineup, good 3-point shooting lineup, good defensive lineup.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Dallas is going to be one of the most dangerous teams. I mean, I've picked Luka to be a top 5 player next season. I think that's what he's going to be.
Damn, I know he couldn't get traded, but a Klay Thompson would be really smooth
What?
in this lineup.
Klay Thompson, that would be OD.
Yeah, he'd be a
That'd
really
be
smooth guy in this
ridiculous.
lineup. To
That'd
play
be
right next to
ridiculous.
Luka.
That would be crazy.
That'd have been one of my guys.
With Klay Thompson, I got him going to the WCF with a Klay Thompson signing.
Luka Klay,
That's ridiculous.
That'd be dangerous.
The Mavericks lost to the Clippers in the first round. The Clippers then proceeded to lose in the second round. They choked the series to the Nuggets, and because of that, Doc Rivers today was fired. Something that surprised most people, probably didn't surprise other people. Do you think that with Doc Rivers fired, the Clippers are finally going to advance to the finals next year?
Depends on who they bring in.
Yeah, that's
always how it's gonna come.
Yeah.
I mean, what coaching candidates are out there right now? Kenny Atkinson is one of them.
D'Antoni
They're
Jackson.
saying the top candidates right now are Jeff Van Gundy
It's not a bad coach.
and Tyronn Lue.
I heard about
take-
Tyronn
Tyronn.
Lue's
to
not
be the head
Tyronn
coach.
Lue's okay. He's a championship coach. Jeff Van Gundy really isn't a bad coach. When he was
All right.
coaching back in his era, he had a
feel
lot of
I
competitive
thought he was great
teams.
for that era, though.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he has been out of coaching for so long, so I don't know how that would work.
I feel like, damn, Doc Rivers, that was a surprise when Joel texted me and told me that. I was like mad surprised. I was like, I didn't think he would get fired. But he has.
I did.
He's blown multiple 3-1 leads.
Yeah.
And I think people are starting to look at him as an overrated coach
Yeah,
because he's
got one championship.
And that Celtics team milks
Stacked.
the shit out of that championship.
That team was stacked. Now, somebody said like he was a coach for the for Boston before the Kevin Garnett and everything, and
He was.
he wasn't really doing much either with them.
Wait, Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce.
Yeah, he wasn't really
Antoine
doing
Walker
much
was a
either.
bucket.
Yeah, he was nice. He wasn't really doing much with them.
I wasn't surprised. In fact, I was hoping this move happened. I thought the biggest mistake the Clippers would have made was to keep Doc Rivers there another year. I mean, there's no way they should have blown that 3-1 lead.
Facts.
This guy has a history of blowing 3-1 leads. And the reason I think this move was made is because Steve Ballmer. Steve Ballmer wants to win now. He's probably the most energetic owner out of everybody. I think I'd put Steve Ballmer one. I'd probably put Mark Cuban second.
He's also said everybody except Kawhi is touchable.
He's in winning mode, but look what he gave up. It's like
For Doc?
No, look what he gave up for Paul George. Like
That was to win now, though.
You have to win now. If he doesn't win now, we're gonna talk about this being one of the worst trades of all time. It's gonna be up there with the Brooklyn trade.
And I think
Guaranteed.
that Steve Ballmer was the one that motivated this trade. He wanted this trade to happen. He wanted the firing to happen.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good move. I mean, look, this guy, it's kind of like what's happening in Atlanta right now with the Falcons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doc Rivers
Quinn.
has already built a culture of blowing leads, of losing. That culture is not easy to fix. And in order to fix those type of coaches, you either need to bring a new guy in or just blow the whole thing up. They don't have the option of blowing the team up because this team can win. So the other answer to it is bringing a guy in, just like Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta has that culture of blowing leads. Whenever they got a lead, oh shit, it might happen again. That's how the Clippers feel now. That's how Doc Rivers' teams feel now.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't have never lost to the Houston Rockets. Should have never lost to the Denver Nuggets. And
Shouldn't have lost in 03.
And now I think
with Tracy.
we do have a different perspective on Doc Rivers because he actually, if you look at his history, he's not that great of a coach. Like, he's a good coach.
Yeah.
But he's not
got
that
overrated
great.
by that championship run, and now people got him looking at this high.
Yeah, like he's a high end coach. Like even I was a part of that crowd that was doing that. Even last year, I'm saying, oh, the Clippers are led by a great coach in Doc Rivers, and just like
Me too.
now, I don't feel the same.
I mean, Doc Rivers last year with that Clippers team, they made the playoffs, and Doc Rivers was in Coach of the Year conversations.
Yeah,
he was getting votes for that, and I don't think that should have happened because I don't think any 8 seed team should get Coach of the Year nominations. That's just me.
Even if there was no expectations to make the playoffs for your team,
maybe a little bit. Like let's say
the record was actually really good.
Yeah,
like if Memphis would have made it, I guarantee Taylor Jenkins would have got some. But I don't think you should be a leading candidate. You should be maybe like top 6.
How about
with
they gave the Warriors a run for their money?
How about with Kenny Atkinson when he got Brooklyn to the playoffs as his coach? Do you think that was worthy of that too?
Brooklyn.
I think it's
I'm just like trying to get a better understanding.
I think it's like
of
top 6, top 5, but I don't think you
At
should
most.
be a leading candidate.
Okay.
But I think, man, only if Kawhi didn't end off so bad with Greg Popovich, I would say Popovich could come and coach this team.
Yeah.
But I think the best guy right now, probably on the market, that
Tyronn Lue.
named Tyronn Lue's one of them, but not named Jeff Van Gundy, that's not already within the organization, Kenny Atkinson. But I think he's kind of like the same mold of Doc Rivers coach.
I think he's more of a player development.
He is. That's coach. What he is. That's what his ceiling is. You just can't. He can't.
I don't think you can win with him.
You can't win a championship.
Tyronn Lue's probably the best.
Develop your players. Like for the next job, I feel like Kenny Atkinson would fit perfectly. But for a team that needs to win now,
Tom Thibodeau.
But for a team that needs to win now and has
I think Tom would have honestly
been
been good for this role with the Clippers.
Oh yeah, they have a lot of defensive pieces.
I think Tom would have made them really work, honestly, because I know Tom was the assistant back when Boston was going their championship run.
I heard that Doc Rivers as the coach, the Clippers really didn't have an offensive system established. They were just running pick and rolls.
You ever watched them play?
They were just running pick and rolls with Paul George and Kawhi all game.
Literally, and the Lou Will Montrez pick and roll. They don't have an offensive.
Yeah, they don't.
system.
But I think another move the Clippers have to make is probably getting rid of Lou Will for a more established defender, consistent scorer. Because we've seen when Lou Will is not going, he offers nothing to the game.
Facts.
In fact, they were Lou Will hunting in that series versus Denver.
I think Montrezl Harrell leaves too. I don't think he resigns either. It's getting bad real quick for the Clippers. Unless they can fix these.
So today,
issues.
Doc Rivers got fired. That was a big headline. He wrote this whole heartfelt message.
I saw that on Twitter.
I didn't even see
that was one of
it.
them. But another big headline is that Victor Oladipo is looking to move on from the Indiana Pacers. So what team can Oladipo fit with? I know that we brought up Dallas, but other than Dallas, what team should Oladipo go to?
I honestly think he should just stay and ride out his contract. For the simple fact that who's going to want to trade for a guy who just played that poorly in the playoffs? A guy who's still coming off. You still see he looks rusty. Yeah, he looks rusty, a shell of himself. I think if he should ride out this last year, because I know he has one more year, ride out this last 1 year deal, show people what he's worth. But realistically, I could see him on a team like Milwaukee. I like him in Milwaukee. I think he could take Bledsoe's spot. Honestly, I think you could run George Hill at the one.
See him in Miami?
Nah, I don't.
That's
think
what Miami's been wanting all year. I've been reading reports about that.
He can't really. He can't really shoot.
He's an okay shooter. 35%, 36%. It's average.
Miami wants everybody, bro. They say they're gonna get everybody, bro. I see him in Milwaukee though.
I have a trade
Knicks
that I think is gonna work. Not the Knicks. It's actually the Rockets. And the trade I see, Russell Westbrook for Victor Oladipo and Miles Turner. You bring Oladipo, pair him up with Harden. You bring Miles Turner, pair him up with Harden.
Yeah.
I think
that can make
Miles Turner
work.
Miles Turner wants to leave too. I'm pretty sure he said he wants to leave. So if you can get a stretch 5 in Houston who can protect the rim as well, and a player in Oladipo who can shoot, handle the ball,
defend.
I think that would defend. I think that would be a great fit for Harden's play style.
That's not bad.
But I think Indiana, I mean, what do you have to lose with getting Westbrook? Westbrook brings excitement to that team. You might not win, but he brings excitement to that team.
Brogdon can play the two.
And he's more intriguing, and he's just
He'll
better.
Get them to the playoffs.
He's more intriguing, and he's just better than Miles Turner and Oladipo. So you're not really
gonna bring in
losing
much.
Too.
He'll get Indiana to the playoffs.
Definitely. But I do agree with Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee can. I mean, I think Oladipo could play the 1 in Milwaukee, and then whatever happens there.
You get Giannis another scorer.
But I think some other teams that we can't rule out. I'm looking right.
Atlanta?
Not Atlanta. That could be possible, but I'm thinking more of like the Jazz. They get rid of Conley.
You would play Donovan and Victor in the backcourt?
I think Oladipo was more of a 1 in college. I think he could be a 1 in the NBA.
It's been a minute, though, since he's been at the 1.
Yeah.
I just think there's a lot of teams here that Oladipo could, I mean, not a lot, but I see Milwaukee as a destination.
Sacramento?
If Toronto loses Van Vliet, I see Oladipo in Toronto as well.
Perfectly there.
Yeah. But I think the Rockets are probably the best one to me.
I like
Milwaukee. It makes the most sense for the Rockets.
Yeah.
If they were to trade away Westbrook, get Oladipo and Turner.
And Turner's young, too.
Yeah,
could you see him in New Orleans? You trade Drew Holiday for him?
That wouldn't make sense.
You don't think it would?
No. You're
I
essentially
think Holiday's
trading
a better player.
Yeah, you're essentially trading a little bit worse player. They're essentially the same guy, if you think about it.
But other than that, I think, it's really not many teams because Minnesota.
They're not going to do it.
Kings, they're not going to do it. The Magic, the Grizzlies.
You think Philly would do it?
Philly could probably do it for like a Josh Richardson. Maybe like an Al Horford
Portland?
guy.
Yeah.
Portland? Nah, right?
Nah, that wouldn't make sense.
Portland?
Unless they trade McCollum.
I don't think they'd trade.
Hell no.
He's a shooter. Damn.
I mean, Warriors.
Hell no.
Right?
I'll tell you they're not doing that.
There's not even teams like the Suns wouldn't, the Bulls wouldn't, the Thunder wouldn't, the Spurs maybe.
Nah.
The Clippers wouldn't, the Blazers wouldn't, the Bucks wouldn't. I mean, the Bucks would, the Mavericks would, the Rockets would.
So probably those 3 teams would be like
the Warriors wouldn't, the Raptors would.
Grizzlies?
Or what about
the Grizzlies might.
What about the Celtics? You trade Gordon Hayward for Oladipo.
Yes, that's not that bad.
I would try to get
definitely
a big.
Not that bad.
If I'm the Celtics, I'm trying to get a big first.
Like I said, I feel like they should target a big first.
They already got Kemba, Smart, Brown, Tatum. So I would try to get a big.
Tice isn't that guy, bro. He's not that good to be your big.
Defensively, he's really good.
Undersized. He's getting cooked by Bam. Very bad.
I don't know. I think the best fit I see is between the Rockets, the Mavericks, and the Bucks.
I agree.
And I think right now is the best time to trade for Oladipo because his value is extremely low.
And he's on 1 year, so.
Yeah, his value is extremely low. Like, you can probably trade him for not that much. And at this point in the careers, Westbrook's value is pretty low too. So you can get low value. You can, like, Oladipo and Miles Turner isn't low value, but for a former MVP in Westbrook, that's on
paper it's low value, but that would really help Houston out a lot.
And I think they'd be a better team because of it.
Easily.
And they'd be really good defensively, too.
I mean, he's a rental at this moment, so.
Who, Westbrook?
No, well, both. Well, no, Westbrook's contract is 2, right?
No, Westbrook isn't a rental. I think like 2-3 years
Oladipo's a rental. He's a rental right now.
I just don't.
Drew Holiday's a rental, too, because his contract is up.
I just like, if that trade goes through, I just don't see Westbrook being happy in Indiana and staying there.
I think he
was happy in OKC.
I think he likes when the attention's on him, small market, worry about him.
I feel like he's more worried about winning now.
Nah, I don't think Westbrook cares. I think he'll love thriving in Indiana as the man. They're celebrating him. He's that guy. I think he'll love it.
I mean, we'll see.
Not to mention, they're not a bad team if they get him, too. They can still make the run.
Sabonis,
yeah, Brogdon's a shooter. He can spread the floor.
Warren's good.
TJ Warren can shoot the ball. Sabonis, you can give to him inside, outside. Then you got the bench, Justin Holiday. You got Doug McDermott. You got Aaron Holiday, who's good, too.
Yeah, he's good.
So, Indiana's that would be a solid team for Westbrook. And they probably, they wouldn't have cap. No, they would, because they wouldn't have to pay Turner. So that'd be.
Do you think they could get somebody else?
They have Jeremy Lamb.
Oh, he tore his ACL, right?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
he's okay.
They have a good. They have a
team
solid
would be
team.
in the playoffs for sure.
They'll be a playoffs
now.
6, 7
seed,
seed, 5th seed. They'll rock out. They'll lose, but they'll rock out.
So this does it for this episode of the Pick a Side podcast. If you guys enjoy our content, please share it as it helps us grow. Follow us on Instagram at Pick a Side Podcast and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Pick a Side. And for those of you who would like to help out the show even more, you can find us on Patreon. And to go to our site on Patreon is patreon.com/pickasidepodcast. And you can look at the tiers and choose how much you would like to donate.
Yep.
Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.
Yep.